everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. I have just witnessed Reading 1, Norwich City 2 in Royal Berkshire at the Madjeski Stadium. A pretty tight game, and it all swung on 1 minute there in the second half where Reading equalised, and then Norwich goes straight up the other end to get the winner. Here is what happened. Reading line up 4-5-1, 4-3-3-ish. Walker in goal. Gunter, Ilori, Moore, Yeadham across the back. Bacuna is sitting in front of the back four with Kelly and Swift a little bit ahead of him. Aluko off to the right and Maite off to the left, with Baldock up front on his own. Norwich 4-2-3-1. Krull, Aarons, Zimmerman closer, Lewis across the back, Teti sitting with Leitner, the deep line playmaker, Buendia to the right, Stiepermann in the middle, Cantwell to the left, never seen him play before, and Pukki up front. So interesting from Norwich, obviously money on Jordan Rose, but they've ended up with Teemu Pukki up front. It looked like Stiepermann was in there, no height in the pretty much 5 of the front 6, so looks like Stiepermann serves 2 purposes in there. Game starts, nasty tackle by Maite on Leitner on 7 minutes. No yellow, dangerous free kick on the right edge of the box. It's whipped over by Leitner, middle of the box. Zimmerman, up he goes. He's a really tall guy, so he doesn't really have to spring. And I think if he had sprung, he probably is going to score here because he's a bit on his heels and he heads it over. Good chance. Good turn by Buendia on 9 into the 10 position. Edge of the box for him. Left-footed shot, low. Easy for Walker. We go into the 13th minute and Norwich take the lead after a good start. Stiepermann gets fouled, and Norwich fans need to praise the referee here. It's a good advantage. Cantwell picks it up. Bit of confusion because 2 players go down and the Reading players think a foul's going to be given, but it's the right decision. The advantage goes. Cantwell moves forward. He picks up. It's a defence splitting sort of reverse-ish ball through. Pukki arcs his run around. He's in the left corner of the box. He wants to take it with his right foot. He opens up his body and from inside, just inside the box, I think, from the left angle, curls it with his instep with his right foot, right along the ground, right into the corner with the right amount of pace. Really nice finish that from Pukki. 1-0 to Norwich. They've made a good start and they are in control here. Bacuna spreads it nicely on 22. Aluko in off the right, low left foot, a drag wide from 25 yards. So the first quarter of the game goes by before Reading even get a shot on goal. Maite takes a yellow for a block on Aarons, although the referee kind of points and says, what about that tackle previously? So totting up, he takes the yellow card, which takes a bit of edge off his game. Stiepermann, nice break on 27, down the right. Good feet from the big guy. Feeds Leitner, right-footed curler from 25 yards. It was a little bit flashy, this. It was a bit of a David Beckham type shot and an easy catch for Walker. Lovely ball outside the left back by Aluko. Gunter makes the run inside. He's in a great position. He's in behind. There's guys getting into the box. The Norwich defence are facing the wrong and he can't pick anybody out. Gunter in a great position. I think probably Reading fans would have wanted that to be the other way around, with Gunter playing in Aluko, who may have had the final ball or may have dribbled in further towards goal. Good position, best chance for Reading. There, big boot forward for Baldock to chase. Zimmerman gets a foot in it, rolls out to Maite. He's 30 yards out. He spanks it with the left foot from the angle. It looks like it's going in the top corner, and Krull gets 2 hands on it and pushes that away for a good save. Good save by Krull, that. 35, game's getting a bit niggling. We start to see the German side of Norwich. Some would call it professional. I kind of call it German and dark artsy. All kind of within the rules, but they concede a free kick and they kick the ball away a little bit. They go down. You know, there's head injuries and things happening. So Norwich managing the game, doing those professional things and slowing it down nicely. Half time, Norwich go in. On the basis of the first half an hour, Norwich were really on top. They have a way, which is quite interesting, of controlling the game, but quite slowly. They're not pinging it about fast, but they had the 3 players up the front, Pukki, Buendia and Cantwell, who did have pace. So they had a good combination of slow control and then kind of really getting into the motions of the attack quickly up front. It was interesting. They controlled it quite well. Reading got into it through those last 10 minutes as Norwich basically said, right, we're going to see the first half out and get to half-time 1-0 up. Into the second half, Reading come out with a little bit more urgency. Baldock turned and shot in the box, blocked. Maite follows in and he's blocked out, so good defending there. Poor in their own corner from Reading, stolen by Stiepermann. Nice back heel by him. Into the box goes Buendia. He's kind of running horizontally along the box, shoots it left footed. That's going in the corner and it's cleared out by Reading. Good chance there. Buendia into Cantwell here on 51. Early out wide to Lewis in an advanced spot. It's a bit of a left backy shot, but good football, good counter, good switch of play. But Lewis can't control the shot and over it goes. Lewis roasts Gunter here. Poor old Gunter was, the Reading fans were a little bit on his back here. He didn't have the pace for 19-year-old Jamal Lewis, and he takes him out for a yellow. Big mistake by the other young Norwich fullback, Max Aaron's, in his own box. He gets robbed in his own box, just misjudges this. Yeardham nicks it off him. He's goal side. They've broken the press. He's in on goal. It's a clear sight of goal. He's a left back, remember, and he gets a bit of a nosebleed and he hits it left-footed into the side netting. I did like a couple of the senior Norwich players going over to Aarons and saying, look, fine, move on, it's done. But big mistake from him, could have cost a goal there. Barrow comes in for Maite. As I said, that yellow card seemed to hit the edge off his game there. This is on 58 minutes. Great play by Reading on 61. Barrow gets straight into the game. Yeardham plays it to him, and he plays this first time. Barrow splits the defence. Baldock is in behind. I think it's with Zimmerman. He's running in on his left foot. He's got to pull the trigger here. He takes one extra touch, and the chance is gone. You're playing up front, Baldock. You're quite isolated. You're also playing for a team that's going to be in the lower part of the table. When you get that one-on-one chance, you've got to pull the trigger. At least work the defender, work the keeper. Just had that extra touch. Shame for him. Leitner corner. Chetty kind of unmarked on the penalty area, heads it over on the penalty spot rather, but he's facing away from goal. It would have been a very good header to score from there. Sims comes in for Aluko. So Reading of Clement's responses to change both his wide players here. Yeardham pulls it back for Swift in the box now. He swivels and he shoots, but it's a bobbly one that just rolls through. On comes Mario Vrancic. More from him in a minute. Buendia comes out for him, so Vrancic just sits in that right side 4-2-3-1 spot there. Bodvarsson comes in for Kelly. More from him in a minute. A couple of effective substitutions, one might say, because here comes the crazy minute. It's a corner for Reading. Corner from the left. The corner gets put in and it goes all the way over. Now the Norwich players reconfigure and it is Swift and Tetty running out for towards the touchline. Now this is clever from Swift because he kind of jogs over with Tetty, and then as Tetty engages him, he completely changes pace and he skins him, and he does Tetty. And you would think a player of Tetty's experience, 71 minutes, would take him down, but Swift is just too quick for him. He goes round, down. He's on the touchline. He puts the cross in. I think it's Moore that gets up, wins the first header, and it's a bit ugly from here. The header falls down in slow motion. Krul goes down. He can't make a clean save because the post is there at kind of half Krul, half the post. Bodvarsson's there and he manages to force it over the line, and Reading have got their equaliser. The crowd are up for it now. It's 1-1. Come on, Reading. Come on, Reading. But immediately, literally immediately from the kickoff, Norwich down the left-hand side. It must be Pukki. Sorry, I was scribbling down notes, obviously, because there was a goal here. I think it's Pukki. Does brilliantly in the left corner. Beats his man into the box. He goes. Great composure. He puts the cross in and the cross is cleared. Out it comes, and it's tantalising. 3 Norwich players converging on the ball here. and Vrancic, who's probably the worst positioned of the three. I think Cantwell's literally about to hit it. Vrancic takes it off their toes. He takes an extra touch. You think, what are you doing? But as he takes the touch, he turns and spins left-footed, and it's right in the corner. Absolute sickener for Reading. They've just equalised, and Norwich straight up the other end. Good character and good finishing from Vrancic. I've heard it said that you're most vulnerable when you've just scored a goal, and their concentration just completely went. One half tackle in that right area, in the Gunter area, as the Reading fans would probably say. But nice finish from Vrancic. So incredibly, I don't think I've ever seen that. 68 minutes, 2 subs come on, 1 for either team, and within 3 minutes they both score. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen that in a game. You would say lack of character from Reading there, and good character from Norwich in that big moment. Leitner comes out. Tribal is a bit more of an athletic defensive replacement for him on 75. Great work again from Pukki. He stretches the defence. He keeps hold of it. Squares it for Teti. I don't know. The old boy has managed to get up there, and he gets blocked out. Last ditch tackle there. I think it's Yeadham or Moore blocks him out at the back there. Vrancic, yellow for a naughty tackle. Then Aarons, he's wasting time for the throw-in. Sims with the cross on 83 for Reading. Headed out, Bakuna slashes the volley over. Norwich are now in that mode they were at the end of the first half. They're going to try and see this out. Like I say, very German, very controlled. Rhodes comes in for Stiepermann, so Pukki comes back into the number 10 position, and Rhodes is up front. Tribal slides it into Vrancic in the box, exactly the same position he scored from. He swivels again, this time a bit less composure. He hits it kind of waist high, torso high at the near post, and Walker can push it out from the corner. It goes out, and I think it's about the third phase, comes back in. Aarons, again, I said this in my review of the Ipswich game yesterday, the crowd say shoot. He had loads of better options, but he shoots. It's going on target, and it's a brave header from Moore. Up go 5 minutes of stoppage time. Norwich trying their best to see it out. The only chance for Reading in these 5 minutes. Swift picks it up. A good feat by him. He drives forward. Norwich now, they have a back four and 2 holding midfielders in front. So he can't find a pass through. And the 25-yarder doesn't miss by much, but you would say they kept him at arm's length. The final whistle goes, and Norwich take the win 2-1. Very interesting game, and what I would say about this game, it was settled in the big moments, and it was all about finishing. When Pukki got his chance on 13 minutes, out of his feet, great finish, 1-0. Reading huff and puff. Yeadham misses a good chance. Baldock doesn't show good finishing when he's clear. They bundle in the goal with Budvarsson, that's why he's there. And then in the big moment again, Vrancic, great finishing again. Reading will feel that they were a little bit of a soft touch in this, because when you look at that, Norwich just, in, like I said, I'm repeating myself, in the big plays, Norwich did the business. Interested in the way they controlled the game. Kind of slow. It looks like Leitner for Norwich has got a bit more of the deep line playmaker about him. Obviously, last time I saw him against my team, Ipswich, it was a bit more frenetic, and he struggled a little bit more. In terms of Norwich, Buendia, who didn't have a good game when I saw him against Ipswich, looks like he's toughening up to the Championship now, and he looked a kind of a bit stronger and a bit more in the game. Maybe Reading are a bit more of a soft touch than Ipswich are, although the table wouldn't suggest so. But Buendia certainly showed his strength and a bit more power today. Norwich did well at the back. They've got these 2 young fullbacks, which bodes well for their future, and they're without Hanley, so Zimmerman doing well. Like I say, Leitner is improving there. Stiepermann's a very interesting player. I know he's a bit of a utility player, but he's useful, and the Championship is more often than not about useful. Cantwell looks like he's got a bit about him, but drifted kind of in and out. But what I will say from Norwich, so they put money into Jordan Rhodes, and he was the big marquee sign, and also in come Teemu Pukki. Now today, Rhodes is on the bench and Pukki's in that front position, and I've got to say, Pukki is an excellent player. He looks really good. When I saw him at Ipswich, he played in the 10 position and kind of drove the team forward, but he looked even better up front. He offered them a real threat, stretching in behind when he receives the ball. His touch is good. He's got acceleration. He's a decent dribbler, and then he's got arms and a low centre of gravity, so he's strong on the ball. And I'm just wondering, if I'm the Norwich manager, Farker, is Pukki a better bet up front than Rhodes? It's certainly, on the evidence I've seen Norwich twice now this season, it did look that was the case, and I'm very impressed with Pukki. He looks like an excellent player, and Norwich have got possibly a new sort of cult player there, maybe after the departures of Maddison and, oh God, the winger's name, Murphy. There we go. So well done to Norwich, their second win in the week. And there you go. I've done that as an Ipswich fan, completely unbiased and objectively. So well done, me. Reading, again, I saw them against Derby here, and they lost 2-1, and it was a sucker punch goal. They just seem a little bit of a soft touch. Whether the presence of someone like Myler in that position, he's wily, whether that would make them a bit less of a soft touch, I don't know. Bulldog was very isolated today. They didn't get men around him while Norwich were controlling the game. They seem a bit in and out the wide players, between the 4 wide players that they use in this game. Couldn't kind of get a tune out of any of them, so that seems a bit of a wasted position, although Kelly and Swift do seem to have some quality in the middle there. I think Bulldog was very isolated, like I say, and when he had his chance he did not take it. So Reading, I don't know, I think they're in for a bit of a longish season and possibly in that bottom quarter of the division. Anyway, if you're at the game or watch the game on the red button, or you're just tuned into the channel, let me know what you think of my comments. If you're a Reading fan, what is the expectation? Do you agree with me that it was poor finishing here, or do you think it was a bit more than that caused this defeat and quality in those big moments? And what's your expectation for this season? Norwich, I have to admit, after the local derby against Ipswich, the sense was Norwich are regressing. They have less good players than they've had, say, since they've you know, been down from the Premier League. But they've got 2 wins this past week. They've beaten Middlesbrough, they've won away already. You know what the Championship's like? It's about momentum. What's the expectation for Norwich, and how good can Pukki be? He looks an excellent player. Comments, please. Keep it polite, keep it civilised, for goodness sakes. Thumbs up if you can, that would be great. And even better would be a subscribe. Lots of Championship content on the channel. I'll do my Championship review and look over my predictions I did this week, and then no sooner have I done that, it'll be another load of predictions, and then I am off at the weekend. It's Ipswich v Bolton on Saturday, so look out for that. Blue Monday podcast, just loads of stuff. So if you're a Championship fan, please subscribe to the channel. I know I have an Ipswich bias, but hopefully you can see we try and do things quite balanced here. If you are a fan of the channel or a fan of what you see, please do subscribe. And if you really want to help out, live event, Blue Monday podcast live in Ipswich after the West Brom game, November the 24th. Please buy a ticket for that. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry, my Ipswich fan followers, you have to hear me talk about Norwich, but we try and keep this broad on the channel. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and see you again soon.